Okay, fourth video coming right at you. Heroics, for triaging heroics issues. They want to add a connect URL or similar method to generated clients. If I have a full URL with user info in it, it's a bit hard to use foo.connect right now. Parse. I wish I could do. This sounds like a feature request. I wish. Sounds like a feature request. And have everything come from the URL. I understand overloading connect wouldn't be great. What about connect URL related connect auth URL and connect token URL methods might be useful too. Sounds legit. I would agree. Not overloading is probably better. The connect methods naming you mentioned seemed reasonable. Okay, yeah. I mean, so feature request open 5 years, not implemented. Like, this is going straight to closed. Okay, I think it could be useful. I think this could also be useful. However, there's been no movement on here for 5 years. Let's close this feature request for now. Finally. All of these have been taking so long. Okay, that was, I mean, maybe I'm just less patient with them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if I can get all 5 of these in 20 minutes. If I make a request using heroics, I get the resource, but the E tag appears to be eaten as only the body is returned. This makes it impossible to grab the E tag returned by the request if I want to send it back on a patch request, which I also can't do. I'm missing something. Yeah, there's something I've been thinking about recently. For better or worse, heroics completely hides the per request HTTP client from client. It'd be nice to have a way to specify override execution params or on a per request basis. Yeah, no, so in order to understand what they're talking about, you have to know what heroics does. It abstracts away HTTP and provides a client interface, so you can just call, instead of like giving it a URL and to like some website.com/users, you can just call, like in Ruby code, .users, like .users.info, and pass it some information. And so the problem here is that because it abstracts away all of the request response logic and just tries to provide you with a model, with an object model, it's basically it's like an ORM for HTTP, maybe, is one way to think about it. It doesn't give you any of that low-level control. So typically, if you make a request, you might get so an E tag is used in verifying last modified since. So let's say you are grabbing a really expensive something. You're getting a list of all your applications, and you have 100 applications, and each of those are pretty lengthy. It's got a lot of fields, all that jazz. Now, if you make that request, Heroku will send you back an E tag and say, hey, this is, and you grab that E tag, you remember it, and the next time you make the request, you say, hey Heroku, I want this information. By the way, I already have a copy of it, and this E tag represents the copy. It's basically like a cache key. And Heroku will take that E tag and say, oh, has it been modified since then? Is this cache key still valid? If so, it'll return a 204 response. I think that's right, a 204, like nothing modified. And then it lets me know, hey, I can just reuse what I already had. Nothing's been modified. I don't have to download 100 JSON instances of, make this really, like, like the expensive part is not always just the request. It's like it also takes, there's bytes over the wire, there's parsing time, all of this. And if you don't need to do any of that, then it's better to do less. It's always faster to do less, I would say. And so what Neil here is saying is that they want that capability of using the e-tag. So that's all of the context. Yeah, I think this would be pretty hard to jump into without any of that context. Could maybe ask for it, maybe ask for an example or something like that. It's like, could maybe ask for an example of how to do it without without heroics, and then with it, like maybe a proposed API. And yeah, this kind of boils down to a fundamental problem with heroics. It's not just e-tags. It's like it hides and abstracts away. It's like all of the headers, all of the low-level stuff, and there's just not a really good way around it. So this is in like feature design territory. So this is like, again, straddling a bug and a feature request. So, okay, in the interest of getting through this pretty quickly, let's just like focus on closing these. I mean, my mind is going down towards, like API design, and let's fix this, and yeah, let's, make this better. So yeah, I'm going to say that. Okay. I would like to add two things: a mechanism for making raw requests, i.e. passing manual custom path / endpoint or headers or body, etc. A mechanism for retrieving the raw response back from the server, if we had those two things, then Neil could get what they want. As this is a feature request, is 5 years old. I have hiccups right now. No one is actively working on it. Let's close it up for now. If any of us have a more specific idea or example code of what the API design might look like, or possibly a PR to Kickstart discussion, then we can continue there. And so yes, basically, like, I'm shooting this down, but I'm also just saying not now, right? Maybe later, and then I'm telling them what maybe later looks like. This almost reminds me of like when I'm having a fight with somebody, like at home with like my wife or my kids or somebody, and we're just so heated, and it's like at one point in time I just need to walk away. It's just like, this is too much. Okay, this issue is too old. Oh, it's 4 years old, not 5. 4 to 5. It's not good enough to just be like, I need to walk away. You need to say, like, I need to walk away, and let's come back to this tomorrow, and provide an exact date and time, and so here's a little bit more concrete of what I would like to see to continue this conversation. So let's go ahead, close it. How are we doing on time? Oh, that one was a little long. UTF-8 fails with bomb fails generating a client. Can you share an example? This is like I mean, this is me being I'm very frustrated with this response. Like, could you share an example schema? And this was 5 years ago. So I think things have changed. I think people understand a little bit more of like, oh, an example app is like really easy to but like it's kind of getting like I want to write a really snarky response here. It's like maybe I'll just write it and throw it away. I don't know what this means. Can you provide an example app for reproduction? Example app. Grab the whole thing. And that's 99% of triaging issues is just asking for an example app and then verifying that it works, and then like the thing I was gonna say, it's like, oh, if it's so simple, like it should be no problem for you generating an reproduction. Like jerk. Like I don't know. It's just like, hey, maintainer, do extra work for me. It's just like this. I'm sure, again, like I'm sure this was 5 years ago. This person might be great. I've never met them before, but just it bothers me. So easy issue to recommend closing. I'm only recommending closing because like it's they already asked for a reproduction and the person basically said no. It's like maybe Wes sees. It's like, I see. Could you generate a structure? It's like, I don't think Wes understands. Like, but this person said it was a simple, so it's kind of like it's hard sometimes saying I don't know what this means. Saying I don't know what this means is difficult, especially in a public forum. But yeah, just pushing back and saying, hey, I actually need the reproduction. If this was open recently, I would not recommend it be closed. I would just keep it open, or I mean, I don't know. It's like, hey, we should close this issue until we can get a reproduction. Lets them know how serious it is, because some people just don't know. Some people don't know. Like, this person might just be sitting back and thinking, hey, yeah, why isn't this is going to be fixed? I made the issue report. Meanwhile, Wes is over here thinking, I don't know how to reproduce this. I can't move forward. And we need to communicate back to them that the seriousness of not being able to reproduce this means that no progress is being made. In this scenario, that just close it. I don't have definitions in my JSON schemas. Same poster. This is a little longer. I don't have definitions of my JSON schemes. Oh, and this is, I mean, it's like the fact that I'm noticing the same people. It's like this is some of the context triaging multiple issues in the same repo can help with. Yeah. Okay, all my JSON schemas have not definitions at all, and I can see now your code does not support other schemas without definition section. You should point to this problem in your README section in the repository about the problem. What I mean is that I have schemas which have type properties required, pattern, JSON schema specific objects, nothing more. Okay, I did not understand any of that. I'm assuming Wes did. The presumption we work under is that definitions include a list of resources. So at this point in time, if I wanted to learn more, I would go investigate JSON schemas more, because that's what they're referencing. I think there's a spec, there's resources, whatever, which is done in a simplifying. But I'm going to hold off on that because I don't really want to get in. Like, it's a path I might want to explore later, but for now I'm focusing on just the issues. Which is done as a simplifying step. This way, we are able to work on each resource as its own schema, and then use PRMD combined to pull them together into a combined schema, which we have found a bit easier to work with. So, like some other notes, I don't know what this is. Do I have that on my machine? Nope. That's a custom thing, special thing. I tried to document those to make this at least somewhat clear by calling out which operations on combined schemas versus individual, but I would certainly welcome PRs or suggestions on how we can further improve the situation. Thanks. I think that's a pretty good response. And what I would have said as well, especially this, like you should point out the problem on your README section. So I'm reading some grammatical things that makes me think that potentially English is not this person's first language, which you run into a lot, and I want to call that out and be sensitive of it, because sometimes when you're dealing with somebody who English is not their first language, they can say things that might come across as rough or abrasive to me. Like that last issue, I interpreted it as kind of like really, and I didn't consider it. Oh, maybe this is not the first language. Like the phrasing of this, you should point to this problem in your README section. Like they are giving me a command. They are giving Wes a command. In reality, like that might not be the case. And so I want to kind of give them the benefit of a doubt. In general, I will also say though, this for you if you were making opening up issues, just be sensitive of how your words might be read as a third party. Like a lot of issues tend to be written in third person perspective. Instead of you should point to this problem in your README, maybe you could say the README should point to this problem. You're describing the end goal instead of the action to get to the end goal. Here, like you should point to this problem. It's like a command to a person versus the README should. It's like a goal and a destination. So that just a subtle difference. Oh, interesting. It's the same issue from before. It's like they changed the title. So in this scenario, they are suggesting an update to the documentation. Wes invited the change to the documentation, and no update has been made. This issue is 5 years old. Feel free to open PRs, or you can make them here, and someone... Yeah, I'm just going to document, especially if it's a README. It's really easy. Oh, I'm gonna close this. Closed. Like you can just go click on, where is it? You can click on the README and you can like edit it and then like make that as a PR. So like it's really easy now. It wasn't as easy 5 years ago. Also, I'll call myself out here. I think that my response is like, even though I said I'm aware that this person might not have been curt, like my responses are also a little bit more curt. It's also because I've been triaging a ton of issues today. If you've been following along, I'm sure you're exhausted. I'm exhausted. And so that is also another benefit of having multiple people. I commented on this one. Oh, I want to fix this. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, this is mine. Oh, yay, I can. Okay. So every single one of these has at least one issue, at least one comment. So I think those are all from me. Great. I mean, it was, how many did I just close? Closed on, I mean, August 27th? Like, I'm pretty sure I just closed some, right? Why is it not showing? Anyway, okay, so I'm going to cut this video off, and then I'm going to go fix this warning, and then I'm going to call it a day. So this is just a thing that needs to be done, and I found it earlier. So, all right, thanks for sticking with me. Hang on. Last video coming up.